I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me. This is much better. Yes, I think I'm gonna leave my light here. And happy 2024 to you. And as usual, I am Ventus. Um, my disclaimer is that I do not claim to be an expert in some of the things that I talk about, but because of my association in various ways, like I've shared singer, songwriter, and all that. And thank you to those individuals who have been leaving comments. And my encouragement is to continue to subscribe. I do not yet have the notification, the subscribe button. I'm going to get these things organized. But I think I'm getting a little better at this type of broadcasts. And wanted to thank you for your support. And let me just orient myself a little better. I should have done that before I went live, but nonetheless. And say to you that it's going to be a great year. Um, we should always be committed to improving ourselves and doing what's right. So, to all, um, let us continue to be positive. Let's encourage each other as I seek to do with my various chats that I do when I do come on and I criticize or I offer an opinion. I always try to put in some way of moving forward. So today we're gonna, well, physical education teacher. Um, I, I'm a sports enthusiast. I'm an avid fan of West Indies cricket, and I'm a lover of cricket in general. So if there is if India is playing against South Africa and West Indies is playing against Afghanistan, I'm going to watch West Indies Afghanistan, and then afterwards I'll watch India South Africa because it's I'm a West Indian and I will support my team for thick and thin. Of course, um, for obvious reasons, people follow the big teams, the more successful teams. But at one time, we were dominant, and everybody wanted to a piece of the West Indies. Let me see how my head look right there. Hey, um, from another channel, I listened to an opinion being given about an interview that Chris Gill, the legendary Chris Gill, did on cricket, and he zeroed in on the business part of cricket in general and how that cricket is now a business. I think it has been a business for a long time. It moved out of a pastime, an expensive pastime, into business. And in the West Indies, our successive administrations and at the various levels, from the clubs to the community teams to the national associations to the regional boards and all the way up to when I said it's okay, sub-regional for Windwards and whatnot and Leewards and then at the regional, which would be West Indies, probably have not realized that it in fact is a business and that just like you sit at business conferences to look at um, all kinds of things, social media marketing, which is the latest craze, um, artificial intelligence marketing, and you do dichotomies, your SWOT analysis, you do the year in review, um, you look at marketing, you look at um, product improvement, you you look for gaps that cause you to lose revenue and how you can mitigate against those gaps if it's at all possible. So the study of the economics of cricket needs to become a thing in the West Indies, and West Indies owe it to the world. Sometimes when individuals criticize my team, which is West Indies, I'm a bit taken aback because there was a time when it was all about us. But whilst we slept, everybody else was studying what we did, was employing our former players and our coaches to bring in the winning strategy. And after they had understudied the West Indies, they built their institutions not necessarily patterned after some of them definitely are carrying the pattern of the West Indies because of the indelible mark that we left and we are continuing to make on cricket. But what they did was to revolutionize and make the sport suit the anatomy and physiology, the climatic conditions, the economic dispositions, the interests, the social interests, and whatnot. We have not sat and continuously done rejigging and evolving, for the want of a better word, of everything cricket. You go to some of the venues, and I am all for emotional attachment and whatnot. I'm not saying you change the ambience in any particular cricket venue or cricket playing ground, but the other perennial problem of no lighting, you have the quality of the pitch, and with all of the technology and all that is available in the world, a global franchise like West Indies cricket still can't get those things right. Um, West Indies are the prime ground for experimentation. Everything you want to try, you do it in the West Indies. So famous for the first pink ball, that was West Indies. Famous for the first day and night test match, a test series, that was West Indies. Famous for the first T20 tournament, that was West Indies. And we can go on and on and on and on. But what I really want to talk about is to go back to the business side of cricket. And when I listen to the opinions being voiced, there Chris Gale was asking the players to view the cricket as a business because the franchise cricket has exposed us our gaps in that we're not doing the business part of the cricket. Let's be specific. Um, an individual would have played in tournaments from from the grassroots level to the country level. Governments and associations invest money in the evolution of that talent, albeit they too spend their money to get gear and whatnot. But it's a combination of efforts by that individual as well as the organizations that they are subsumed under. Then you have West Indies um, age group competitions, you have regional competitions, you have the sub-regional competitions as the Windwards and the Leewards. And you also, in larger territories like Guyana, you have the inter-county, I think it's county, where they play each other. So there is a certain amount of investment that comes from parent organizations. Then that player would have made an impact, be it in our Super 50 or in the regional tournaments for regional 4D, and of course the crowning cricket, the biggest party in sport, which is our T20 competition, which is seen as the second most popular um, in the world of its kind. And if we're not careful, we will soon lose that. Um, then the player who would have benefited from plane tickets being sponsored, um, hotel being sponsored, meals being sponsored, gear being provided. In some instances, I do know that some people get these things for themselves. Or perhaps, should the organizations be more astute with their resource allocation so they can nurture those players, that they can have them under obligation. And this is where I'm going. After the player would have transitioned from a pup in the game until the entry into professional sport, which we see the franchises and whatnot. That player can freely and willingly do what they want with that career. So the the dollars and cents that would have been spent before by the various organizations that we have mentioned, countries included in that long list, is insignificant, and that the player now becomes an entity who can do with that product, that brand that has been created as they please. So they could decide. What we're facing now is players can decide, I am not going to play for West Indies, or I will play. I will not play T20 cricket. I will only play Test cricket and whatnot. So West Indies are the organization is held to the players' whims and fancies, and I think that there is just too much um, freedom and liberty to choose what you want. I am not qualified in economics, but if you can carte blanche declare where you're going after you would have come through my ranks, then there needs to be a better business arrangement with this player. Now, at present, West Indies, the governing body offers retainer contracts to the individuals who are playing for the senior male and female teams. And there is nothing that binds the other players who are West Indian players who are not on the playing 11. So there is no business arrangement with a player who is not retained to ply his trade for the senior team, in that they can do what they want. And we have seen it. Players have gotten injured and they're not available for West Indies. Players have fallen to the lure of more money and more lucrative ways of plying the trade at the expense of the organization that would have brought them through. If you can do what you want after you have become the thing or the talk of the town with your talent, then why are we developing you? And we see academies, we see various iterations and permutations, and they are not perfect in any way. I think it can be improved upon. And like I said, these are opinions, and I don't necessarily have the my pay grade does not allow me to make any pronouncements that anybody who should feel duty bound to do what I say. I do not command such clout, but I think as a fan, as an individual who wants to see the game and also involved in teaching the sport, as a coach and academically, that opinion I can express freely and without fear of contradiction. And in your comments and whatnot, you may you know leave a comment, and I will come and reply as best as I can. Um, so going back to what I was saying, um, we have schools and institutions in the West Indies that offer studies in everything. Um, some of it brought into our education system, into our society, and there is not one institution that is studying cricket. And for example, shouldn't there be the university or the Institute of Cricket Studies, where we take everything West Indies and we make it a subject of study? Is there a process with continuous analysis and analyses of methods, training methods, coaching methods, um, preparation of facilities methods, wealth creation methods, player management methods that should be put in? What we see is WIPA, which is an organization that looks after conditions, playing conditions for its members, doing its thing, having a discussion, and standing on the opposite side of the table to the board. I learned something when during my days as youth ambassador to CARICOM for St. Lucia. And as we did our training, they taught us about negotiating. So I think I can juxtapose or kind of graft it in and see if we can make sense of this. And we were told by the facilitator that, let me just try to say it quickly. If there is a problem and the gentleman used a wall, and he says, you have the opponents on opposite sides of the wall. The parties are the ones, and the wall is the issue, the bone of contention. As it stands, they are on opposite sides and they are both pushing. Here's what can happen. If both people have strong arguments, the wall will stand. It's not budging anywhere because they are equal force. Aside from that, the individual with more strength is going to bulldoze his way and supplant the other one, which leaves one party aggrieved. It's always better if you can have both parties or all stakeholders leaving the room happy and contented that all issues have received just discussion and they have come to the best possible conclusion at the time, at this moment in the game. And I say all of this to bring it into cricket. If there was a process where all and sundry who speak in the name of cricket and cricketers could sit in a room or in a process, which may take a day or a few days or a few months and whatnot, and constantly review and refine what we do, be it in the industrial relations, be it player preparation, be it man management, and all of this, wouldn't and even those who speak for the fans, wouldn't it have been a lot more profitable, or wouldn't we all feel that, listen, my issues have received just attention by myself and everybody else who is a stakeholder in cricket? So we were advised back to negotiation that if both parties now come on one side, because you see, the parties are not the issue. It is the wall that divides them that's the issue. If they can come and tackle that wall together, pushing at it, they stand a better chance of removing this blockade that is causing the contention. West Indies at this present moment, as far as I know, do not have a process. When we notice that we are falling away, governments, politicians, CARICOM, territorial boards, regional boards, the press, pressure groups, individuals like myself, we're talking and shouting at each other because everyone is speaking from his vantage point, speaking with the information that he has. So the public and the press get what is put out there, what's in the public domain, which is by and large emotional. Then the board speaks from a board's perspective, knowing the inner workings of the cricket relations with them, the administration and whatnot, not putting everything out there. They would obviously have a different song. And the players who are looking at their best interest are speaking from a player. So there is the cricket culture in the West Indies does not create an environment where we can move in a harmonious manner. And when and if problems arise, that we can take on these problems in a mature and strategic manner. And what we have is a lot of shouting. It's like the US stock market, which even there has a system. But people are standing and shouting at each other. It's like a large room with a cacophony of very important opinions. But when we're all shouting at the same time, and we all are passionate, and we are all standing our ground, you know what is going to happen. What is happening now in West Indies, where the game is suffering? I do not believe that we have lost, that the talent has dwindled. I think that the processes are not there to unearth the talent first and foremost. It is done purely by chance. Secondly, when that talent is seen, there is no process. Right now, everybody is talking about the young Hetmaya who's getting truckloads, and congratulations to the young man. Who has dispatched a team, scouts, whatever, I don't know, to look into this talent? There may be practices that this talent is into that may cause it not to mature. So many individuals have started with obvious natural ability to dominate and make you look good, and they are left to flounder, and they change. We lost Jofra Archer, who is world class, and West Indian started here and let him slip through. We have not taken these things into consideration. You had players complain about the communication. It behooves me that an organization which is involved in a global undertaking has yet to fix its communication issues with its members, which you have people are still finding out that they no longer have a job, or certain decisions have been taken. People who should know things are getting to know it from the wrong channels, and there are people employed to do that. And and when it is not done, who is holding who to account? Where does the axe fall when something that should have been done, that is causing dissent, it is causing ill will and whatnot, or the perception of it, is definitely out there. So fans are not happy, territories are not happy, players are not happy, the coaches are saying they're not happy, and then we're all not happy, and now the world is not happy, with lots of people not even too interested in playing against a team that everybody at one time was looking to come and watch play, and love their calypso island cricket, and the flair of the batting, and the venomous and penetrative bowling. Where has this West Indies gone? And it is not because we do not have talent, it is because we have allowed the game to flounder whilst others are evolving. That's just the opinion that I have and that I'm expressing here in on this first day of the year. I know now. What do we do? Let me begin to look for some pertinent solutions. And I have said it in places that should have caused change, but I have not seen much change. Um, let's look at the top teams: Australia, South Africa, England. Who is studying the methods of these teams to see what has caused them now to become the talk of the town? Okay, you may not be able to get the secrets of this place. New Zealand, there are other teams that are moving. What are they doing that we're not doing? That they seem to be progressive and we seem to be in recession, or receding. Um, so dispatch people. Kieron Pollard's employment by England seemed to be causing quite a stir. But if I was England, I would have given myself the best chance that I can. What is West Indies doing in that regard? We know that we have to tour whatever place. Are we taking a consultant on board from that territory, somebody who can give us information about pitches, the changing conditions, who can advise the bowlers, how can you afford injury and breakdown? Um, any 1% or 1 millimeter that you can add, that can because these are the the the, the little details that bring about a significant result. We see it all the time. A millimeter is all you need. One degree of deviation to get your edge or to be bold. One um, error in balance or one fault in step, and then you have a no ball, or you have. We know how these very small measures bring about significant changes in the game, and we do not have enough information in that very small area there that needs detail and needs to be combed through with precision and whatnot. And we're not swing bowlers, but how if you get a little bit of lateral movement, it causes doubt. If you can do a little bit of manipulation of the pitch, you can have all the pace in the world, and the conditions mitigate against pace. Then how do you evolve? It's something that is not innate. Some people can get conditions, and they have a natural sensor in there that takes on. They have an onboard processor that analyzes for them, and they can evolve in the situation. But science can also help you. Technology. Do we have those things in place? Do we have other types of contracts so that a player who is not does not get a central playing contract still has some kind of obligation or some kind of agreement that if you have several breakdowns or injuries or problems, health, whatnot, um, you can call on this player because and he is obligated because his or her name would have been inked on a. You're not simply depending on people's benevolence or their good nature. It's business. And when I say business, I'm not saying you have to lose your humanity in it. I'm saying you have to have processes in place, and then you can have a reference point. You can say, okay, your contract says whatever, whatever, but because of the new situation that has emerged, we are prepared to revisit these conditions and change to change to be in concert with the environment that has now come into existence. So that will change your status or the status of your relationship with me or with the board or with the sport. Do we have those things in place? And I mean, it is so sad that we are going against mighty Australia. How can I not talk about it? And some of the best players right now are not available because they can choose. You can refuse a retainer contract, but there must be some other condition that binds you. Now, I don't want to go on for too long, so let me go back and 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 talk about something else that's very important. When isn't West Indies a brand? West Indies cricket. You see a West Indian play, and it's not like, are we treating it like a brand? And the money that is needed for player development, equipment, and we know all of what is missing because the players go in those other territories that have bigger economic spaces with access to more resources or more evolved in their way of treating sport than we do. And they say to you that this is missing. How do we bring those conditions into existence that it does not become a pull factor, that you're only depending on loyalty to keep your players? If, say, a Chris Gale, every time he appears in the IPL or the Big Bash, how much money is being put into West Indies cricket? Is everything going in the player's pocket? Do you have any agreement? Are there any clauses with the player or with the employer that causes some amount of resources? You see, it all goes back to what kind of relationship do we have? So you can develop the player and they can go anywhere and make money as they please and talk about having to make a bread, which I agree. But how do you get these other players? Okay, when 15 of our players are not available, would we have been in a position to have developed other talent that their absence, even though you would have preferred them as first pick, that their absence does not cause a whittled down, ineffective um, team going to engage your opponent, and to give a certain quality to the sport? How are we going to do this? We need to rethink the business relationship that we have with players and with those franchises. T20 is a West Indian thing. How much money is the West Indies getting with the plethora of T20 leagues that are T10, all kinds of things are coming up from in all corners of the globe under all kinds of conditions inside the covered stadiums and whatnot. Every time that brand of cricket is played, shouldn't some amount of recovery be passed on to the West Indies so that money can go into development or even giving players better salaries, which is what is being talked about? That because the processes are there, the resources are in you getting the money from your brand, you can now invest in maturing players faster, in fast tracking batsmen, in dealing with injury, in incorporating more science in the sport, and in doing better media and public relations, and better reporting, better analysis, and get technology that will slow down the biomechanics, that we don't have to send players to all kinds of places to deal with injury or to deal with problems with their arm and whatnot. And the culture and what they have over there is tailored for their people and not for your cricketer. And you're going to send your lethal fast bowler to my country for me to make him right so he can come back and beat me in a game? Just think about it. And I am not saying that the guys over there will necessarily do anything bad. You do not know. Are you going to leave it to their, again, their goodwill? That goodwill thing needs to go. It has to be business. And we need to have had, if not in every territory, but somewhere that you can send a player to get to spread it around the West Indies, to get treatment, to get their development, to correct a flaw, to be psychological and whatnot. We are intelligent people, and the sport is still very important to us. It would be a travesty to allow the sport of cricket to dwindle and become a fib or a story that at one time we dominated was the rest of the world, and it does not have to happen that way. Let us take charge of our destiny. It is in our hands. You have several universities, you have scholars, people with reputations in sport who can be brought in and paid to give us a plan that we can improve on and bring about a change in our fortunes. I just wanted to, talk to you a little bit about that and leave this there for a comment. Remember to subscribe and remember to check out my social media, Nintus, Nintus. Happy New Year to you. And until, I get something else that I can talk about, I'll always come. The West Indies, cricket, life. These are the things that I'm passionate about. So I want to share it, and someone will hear and take a clue, or it may generate discussion somewhere else. So thank you. Peace, love, and progress to you.